Hi, my name is Jose Vasquez, and this is my miracle moment. Growing up, I was a good student, a good son. Listened to my parents a lot. Um, I was your average normal kid. When I got to high school, that's when I started hanging around with the bad crowd, bad kids, the so-called cool kids. Um, but all they did is they were gang affiliated, skipped school. So I started hanging around with these type of guys, and we did a lot of bad things, fights, skipped school. So I guess my downfall was my bad friends that I had. I chose the wrong crowd to hang out with, knowing that I was a good person, a good student, and all that. Um, from there, it escalated to using drugs, drinking alcohol, um, and that was around the age of 15 when I was in high school. At the age of 16, um, it got worse. I was out of hand. That's when I started using alcohol, at the age of 16. At the age of 17, I ended up getting kicked out of my house because there was a altercation within the house. One of my brothers stabbed the leader of a gang, and um, they came back to retaliate. I got my friends involved, and everybody showed up, and all my friends showed up. My parents showed up at the end, and they seen all my friends. So there's a lot of chaos. So I got kicked out of my house. Right before I left my house, I put a gun to my dad's head, and I threatened his life. And that's the reason I was kicked out of my home. I went back to the same thing. I never got it. I was in a cycle. I was lost. Same cycle all the time. When I thought when I thought I was gonna stop doing bad things, I kept going because my friends, my so-called friends, the fake friends, the friends that say they have your back till they die, it's a lie. It was all a lie. They left me alone when I really thought they were my friends. So it was really sad and betrayed. The real friends were the ones that were there all along. They tried to make me do good, and those are the only ones that stuck around. But I still, even when they were around, I still chose that bad life, the negative life. And one of my friends, one of my friends' parents gave me a place to live, and I started working at a temp agency, and I didn't like that, the money I was making. So I went to the streets and started robbing, started stealing, started breaking into cars and taking people's stuff. My friend's mother noticed all the stolen property in my friend's room, so she kicked me out. So I ended up in the streets. One of my other friends introduced me to this two brothers. I didn't know them, so they introduced me, and they were abandoned by their mom because their mom met some other guy, and so she decided to leave them two behind, and she left. So they had a house. The mom had a house, and she said, "You know what? I'm gonna leave you at the house. There's no electricity. There's no lights." So she's like, "Y'all deal with it. Y'all find out how to connect the lights, and I'm leaving." So she left. There was three of us in the house, and we started to make plans to come up with fast money. So we did a lot of things. We did like robberies. We at gunpoint. A lot of fightings. So that all the bad things that I did in my life ended up, in jail, out jail, in jail. I got my first drug possession at the age of 19. I got out that. I was on probation. I violated probation. Went back in jail, and throughout my whole life, I was in and out of jail. I spent 3 birthdays in jail. I never, in my head, I was too full of pride. I had a uh, a vision about myself, to be the top dangerous, I guess, gangster. You want the gang life, like, because growing up, my brothers, I'm the youngest. My older brothers, they're gang members. So I was trying to be bigger than them. So that was my vision, to be the biggest, I guess, gang member in Houston. I got to a certain age of 22 that I ended up in Harris County. And in Harris County, I got sentenced to 10 months in state jail. So before I was transferred from Harris County to state jail, they put you in this holding tank before you have to wait for the bus to get transferred to state jail. And in the holding tank, there was a lot of people in there. And I remember this one guy that sat there, and he was a lonely guy, and he was talking to himself. He kept talking to himself. So I thought he was like a crackhead or something. So I ignored him, but he was right here, sitting right next to me, like at the corner of the bench. And he all of a sudden talked to me. He told me, he asked me if I wanted to hear a story. And I looked at him, and he began telling me the story about this guy that was instructed by God to preach at the city, and he decided not to listen, so he got swallowed by a whale. And I didn't know anything about the Bible. I didn't know any stories of the Bible at that point. But when he spoke to me, I could see everything that he was telling me. And that holding tank, I was surrounded by inmates. I mean, we're all gonna get transferred to state jail. So I mean, it's real crowded, and everybody's real loud. So when I heard this guy and I could vision everything, it scared me, because I didn't know what was going on. And when I snapped out of it, I looked at him, and I told that guy what I was seeing. I said, man, each time you talk to me, I see things like I'm watching TV, and it's in color. And he looked at me, he smiled. The whole time he spoke to me, he looked at the ground. He did not look at me. He just looked at the ground and he smiled. And he kept rocking back and forth. He kept doing this. And he kept going with the story. He mentioned that that God used him to plant a seed. And now that seed is planted, the enemy's going to attack. I still did not understand what he was talking about. But as soon as he finished talking to me, I heard somebody laughing at me. But I mean, it sounded right in my ear. When I looked at the corner of the tank, I could see this guy. He was just looking at me. He was laughing at me. He was just laughing. And this guy, the one that was telling me the story, he was still looking down, and he said, "You heard that?" And I said, "You heard it? The laugh?" And he said, "Yeah." And he told me yeah, you hear the laugh? That's the enemy. He knows what just happened, and he knows that the seed is planted, so he's gonna attack you. And he told me to water that seed, and that seed will grow to be a tree and give fruit. And the way I water that is by reading the Bible. There's where I have that relationship with God. And I got transferred to state jail. I started going to the church, and start feeding myself, the spirit. I had that urge. I was on fire. I was on fire for God. As soon as I came out, it took 3 months. My plans, as soon as I came out, was to find a church and start preaching. I wanted to preach. I had that fire, that hunger. I wanted to get on the altar and start preaching. Because my flesh thought that I was ready, but I wasn't. 3 months later, I went back to drinking, bad friends, same circle, down the drain. I met back then she was my girlfriend, which is now my wife. We went clubbing, we partied a lot, we drank a lot. It got worse, actually. But I did not any longer rob, steal. I started working and all that. I was more mature, but I still did things of the world. I went back more so because I like to respect the power that I got, putting fear into people, Um, the money, fast money. With fast money, women came, all the other stuff. Drugs, alcohol came. Everything was easy. That life, it was easy to fall into sin. Um, so that's why I went back. But more for me was more the sense of power, respect, and that's why I kept going back. When I fully stopped is when um, the 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 officers got involved. When I was being watched, surveillanced, and one of the officers that knew me told me what you doing? They're watching you already. He told me it was on the covers, how many covers were looking at me, taking pictures. So I had a meeting, and I told the guys that I was gonna quit. I'm gonna stop. I quit and I went back to live with my parents and working. And so I called my dad at his work. He used to work at Fiesta. I still remember that. And my dad, even though I almost took his life, he forgave me. My dad forgave me. And he said that he's my father. He will always forgive me regardless of what I did. So I went back. When I went back, he accepted me with his arms wide open, and like if I didn't do nothing bad. And he showed me his love. And when my dad forgave me, I felt that he that's when I knew that he really loved me. That's when I knew he really loved me. I couldn't understand why would he forgive me if I tried to take his life. But my dad, had that love for me. And he said, son, I love you. I will always love you. No matter what you do, I'll forgive you. And, and this was through the phone I talked to him. I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry because I couldn't believe that the love that he poured out to me. Because really, my dad when I was growing up, my dad wasn't a loving person. My dad was real violent, real strict. So violence was already implemented in my family and my brothers because my dad was a violent person. My dad, used to carry pistols, suited up. He went to the club, he drank. So I seen that growing up. He opened the door and he just opened his hands. And I hugged him like I was a little kid. I hugged him. He cried. And, I cried. There was this guy that showed up. He was hired on. He was Christian. He was a young guy. I noticed he had tattoos on him. He started talking to me about God again. And, he gave me his testimony. He told me that he used to be a thug. He used to do a lot of drugs, fight a lot. And he had the scars to prove that, the face and all that. He told me he got stabbed 15 times. He showed me the wounds, the stab wounds. He had them in his arm, his chest. He had them everywhere. He told me how he had the stabbing. He got stabbed because he got in a fight. He got in a fight over some girl. And he almost died. And he had a vision. He had a dream, I guess, experience. And he said his story was that he was gonna die after he got stabbed, and he sat on the back of a truck, and little by little his vision started getting blurry, his hearing went away, and he collapsed. He fell, and he knew that he was dying, and that he ended up he saw a figure. He couldn't see the face, he just knew there was a figure around him, and that instantly he knew that he was dead, that he was gonna get judged, and instantly he knew that he was going to hell. And he told me he didn't care because he was of the world. The only thing he asked that person that he knew there was a presence there is to send somebody to take care of his kids. And as soon as he said he asked that person, he was awake in the hospital. They were cutting his pants and his shirt. He was in the hospital. He was revived. So he got saved, And when I met him, he started working with us. He was saved 7 years already. So that sparked that fire, that flame that I had. That had a little. I probably had nothing, maybe probably not even smoke from that little campfire I had inside of me. But it sparked it. It just blew in me. Just blew it up. I mean, my eyes just lit up. You feel it. It's like energy that you feel inside of you. Like you want to run, take off running. You're ready. And he just sparked it in me, relit everything. And when we relit everything, he invited me to his church, and I went to his church, and little by little, I got saved. When I gave my life to God, and I asked God, and I asked Him to deal with me, take that away from me, He did it. He took everything away from me. He's the only one that changed me, and therefore, now I feel thankful. And I see my life now, and when I think of how I used to be, there's no way I'm going back. There's no way I'm going back. Yeah, we have our ups and downs sometimes, as Christians, as believers, because we're not perfect. We're still humans. But even if I fall, I know my God loves me so much that He'll pick me back up. Say, let's just go fall. Keep going. And I got baptized, and God is good. My relationship with my wife is good. I'm a whole different person. My brothers, one of my brothers, he still drinks and all that. But I got the middle brother. He's curious. He sees me, and he's curious. So now he goes to the house sometimes at nighttime, and he sees us drinking coffee, because we used to drink beer. Now we drink coffee and sweet bread, pan dulce. And he goes and drinks coffee now with me, drinks pan dulce. I had a Bible study with him and his wife. So he listens. He's like, man, how did Jose change? Now we come to Emmanuel Worship Center. This is our new home. I love this church. It's full of positive, great, godly men and women. And I'm grateful for every single member here, for the love that they provide. And I'm thankful for y'all. My name is Jose Vasquez, and I believe in the God of miracles.